Hello, greetings. This is PMak here. Welcome to the Voices Listed show with Dr. PMak. And today I'm excited to speak with Tara Schroder, who is the Chief Executive Officer of the nonprofit Dimensions Educational Research Foundation, whose mission is to inspire joy and wonder in children, educators, and communities with a heart-centered approach to early education. Her work supports the major departments of the foundation, such as the Nature Explore program, the Exchange Press, and the Dimensions Education program. Dimensions is an administrative partner of the World Farm Foundation, whose mission is to promote an ongoing global exchange of ideas on the delivery of quality services for young children in diverse settings. Tara serves as the executive director as well of this World Farm Foundation. Tara has developed and hosted large gatherings for key partners during national conferences and has spoken at national and international conferences. Join me today on Voices Listed podcast with Dr. PMak as I speak with Tara Schroder. So Tara, when I first got to know you and first got to know the work that you're doing, I was like, man, I thought I was the only one who wears so many hats. So you are the CEO of the Dimensions Educational Foundation, executive director of the World Farm Foundation. How do you manage on a day-to-day basis? How do you manage all the things that you got to do?
Well, and on top of those two hats, I am also a mother of two
Yes, you are.
young
Two beautiful girls, yeah.
So
Yeah.
balancing work life and personal life can always be challenging for all of us. But
Yep.
I actually just came out of a meeting earlier today and shared that my can-do attitude is really what gets me through
Wow.
my personal life and professional life. And I try to share that out with the colleagues and everybody that I work with on a day-to-day basis, that we can do this, and especially together we can certainly do it. And so I always encourage others to just go for it. And I tell myself the same. We may have risks and we may make mistakes and we may have some terrible ideas along the way, but that can-do attitude, and let's just give it a try, is what keeps me going every day.
I love it. And so if you would step back and say, hey, Patrick, I'm thinking about my can-do attitude or approach, where's the source? Where was the genesis of this? Have you always been a can-do person, or it emerged somewhere? What's the story behind that?
I have always been a can-do person, and just go for it, give it a shot type of person. I think a lot of it's the way I was brought up. My parents set that same example. Both my parents were very, very hard workers. My dad was in the farming and livestock industry, and my mom was an educator herself. And so just hard workers, and just go for it. So ever since I was little, I've been like that.
That's amazing. And so, speaking as a parent, right, there's certain things that I do. I'm like, well, I hope my kids are watching. Of course, I have this kind of hustle culture mentality on the side, and on the flip side, I'm like, nah, I'm part of the slow down revolution. I'm like, hey, slow down, take it easy,
Yeah.
Do you have moments where you're like, well, I hope my daughters are seeing what I'm doing, and perhaps they can, take on after me? Does that happen to you as well?
Absolutely. I can already see it in my girls who are 7 and 5. They go for it all, and they don't slow down.
Wow.
I think that's also what keeps me, active and going, and pursuing all their dreams. If they want to try this and that and this, let's do it. They have to learn for themselves what's gonna work well into their lives and what makes them the happiest, and ultimately then determine their own dreams. So I certainly hope for that in my girls.
Wow, that's amazing. And yeah, thanks for all the work that you do, and even how you role model that, not only just to colleagues, right, in terms of can do, but also to family, to your daughters. And so we say that, I've introduced you as the CEO of the Dimensions Education. So let's start there. What does a day in the life of Tara looks like? Like, I know you and I have had meetings at like it's 6 a.m. my time, and maybe 9 or 11 p.m. I'm like, man, and she's just going and going and going, right? What does a day as a CEO look like for you?
Well, with Dimensions Educational Research Program, we have different departments, different entities, if you will. So we focus on Nature Explore, connecting children to nature and the importance of children spending time outdoors. So we design outdoor classrooms across the nation and across the world, and educate adults as to how to best utilize those outdoor spaces with children. And we have Exchange Press. So we provide right now a print magazine, but we're moving to a more digital model of providing resources, articles, a network of voices for the early childhood field. We also have our very own childcare site in Lincoln, Nebraska, which is where the headquarters for Dimensions is. And we serve about 80 children, infants through preschool. And we also have a research component to Dimensions. So we have a lot going on with a really small team. We are a nonprofit. So the day-to-day for me is actually never the same. It always looks different, and we're constantly focusing on something new and exciting, and just really trying to do good for the world and the children of today. And a lot of the work around Dimensions is that nature component. As well as just providing the resources and the tools that the early childhood field needs, especially right now. So I, as the CEO, do a lot of supporting of our staff. I do a lot of research and seeking for fundraising. Like I mentioned, we're nonprofit. I'm doing a lot of relationship building and meeting with potential partners. We really want to spread the word and be more known out there in the world.
Yeah, I love that, and I love, what you mentioned too. And I think about it too, as, experience as an entrepreneur myself, like no day is the same. Like moving, like this morning, I just jumped off a meeting and my colleague was like, "You seem to be down today. What's happening?" I was like, "No, I'm not down. I'm okay. But there's just tons of stuff that I'm processing in my head that's coming from other meetings and other things. And I'm trying to put it all together. And here you are, right? I'm talking to you as well. I'm trying to process all of that, right? So no day is the same." And I love the Nature Explore program and the work that you're doing in terms of just with, with the schools. Of course, not looking into the research, in terms of what, research tells us about the impact of, children spending time in nature. What sparked that idea, though, for Dimensions to say, hey, we want to have this Nature Explore as a program?
Because there is this feeling of, well, being outdoors means getting dirty, or being outdoors means that we just go outside to blow off steam, especially when you're within a school setting. But there's so much more to connecting with nature. So children don't need to go outside to blow off steam. They need to go outside to be grounded and reminded of what our earth offers us. And so it was all originated and started in a way to share out more of that information and that research and the benefits. The spending time in nature decreases obesity and increases your visual spatial thinking. There's so much healing and joy that can come from spending time at nature, that we wanted to be able to just share that out more and provide the evidence.
Yeah, I love that, Tara, and I think about, it was just yesterday I was having a conversation with Nana Deb, who came up to pick Piper for a walk. Piper is our neighbor's dog, yesterday for a walk, and I was mowing the grass with my young son. And I was just saying to Nana Deb, I was like, hey, I'm just doing this with Pana because I need to get him out of the house, right? And so for me, I love what Nature Explore and what you have just mentioned, right, is an important part of even getting our children out of the house, out of the school setting or sort of the formal school setting or classroom setting and go into the forest, right? Go into nature and enjoy what Mother Nature has for us, right? And I love the science that you're talking about and how you tie into sort of reduction in obesity, but also, just sparking the learning or the curiosity, right, that children naturally have. And so, as sort of work with different programs, right, in the US, in Canada, around the world, what are some of the most creative solutions that you've seen programs develop when they have limited space, right? So, I'm sure you've worked with the centers that have no outdoor space at all, like they've got nowhere to, we love the idea, we love the concept, but we just don't have the space. What are some, innovative ways that or what have you seen as innovative
Right.
solutions for programs? Yeah.
Yeah, well, and we've designed spaces on small rooftops. We've designed spaces
Rooftops.
in alleyways or just like
Whoa.
a very small concrete slab on the side of a building in a downtown setting
Wow.
of a city,
Yeah.
So like
Hmm. Hmm.
we've definitely
Hmm.
designed in some really small
Hmm.
settings as well as really large scale settings. But with smaller settings, it's starting with the plantings,
Yeah.
the natural materials. um you can use raised planter beds, garden
Hmm.
beds. You
Yeah.
can use potted plants. So it really comes down to the plant material and
Hmm.
loose
Hmm.
parts,
Hmm.
bringing in some tree blocks, bringing in some what we call tree cookies. So it's taking
Yeah.
a tree and it's slicing it so it looks like a cookie.
Yeah.
And starting with those things and building from the exploration that the children have
Hmm.
with loose parts
Yeah.
and the plant material is incredible because it gets their minds going.
Yeah.
They're already seeing green in their new spaces.
Yeah.
They can take the loose parts, whether it be the blocks or the tree cookies, and start
Hmm. Hmm.
stacking, building, moving, using their gross motor skills
Yep.
to move materials, to build a fort, to use their
Yeah.
imagination. So it's really utilizing even some pretty minimal resources
Yeah. Yeah.
just to get it going,
Hmm.
to just start bringing nature into your space.
Wow, that's amazing, right? So there's that, we can do it approach, right? That you've
Right.
always carried through, right? That there's nothing called limited space. You can always, I mean, when you said rooftop, I was like, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. You can actually do that, right? Alleyway, yeah, there's a space there. You can actually use that and design it in such an interesting way. Wow, that's amazing. And one of the things that I wanted to ask you was that how are the ways that you help educators shift from traditional playgrounds to these nature-based learning spaces, right? Do you have any sort of without giving us your secret sauce, maybe one or two in case, my listener like, we're going to go take this. No. What are some high-level ways that you have?
Yeah, and it just really depends on where the staff is at, and
Okay.
every staff everywhere is different,
Mm-hmm.
obviously. So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes providing the research
Yeah.
benefits
Yeah.
is enough for the staff to be like, I didn't think of it like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes staff needs to either visit or see visuals from other spaces and see how the transformation has worked for them.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just taking some professional development courses to
Mm-hmm.
learn more about what you can do in those
Yeah.
outdoor spaces
Yeah.
with more of a setting and more education
Yeah.
as the staff. So it's really meeting the staff, the educators where they are, and helping
Mm-hmm.
them work through the process in the various different ways that we have to
Sure.
offer them
Sure. Yeah.
to get to the point where they're like, okay, now we get it. Now we're committed.
Yeah.
We're doing this. So it's really for us, we want children to experience nature every day.
I love
And when
that.
you think
Yeah.
about the places where children spend the most of their time, that
Mm.
is at home
Yeah.
and at school or wherever they're spending their day while their parents are working.
Yeah.
So we need to make that be known wherever they're at, in libraries, in museums, in parks, in chakra settings, in schools, in hospitals. Every single day, wherever you might go, we want nature to be involved. And so it's just educating and letting those adult learners know about what we have to offer, and getting them excited about it too.
Yep, I love that, right? And growing up in Zimbabwe in Southern Africa, I now, having moved to the north some years back, I now actually appreciate some of my growth experiences that I thought back then when I was growing up, were like, yeah, no, I want to stay in the house, I want to play a game. But, we would spend a lot of time going out to herd cattle, goats, and spend a lot of time in nature. And I'll tell you, Tara, what you say is so true. Like, I think of some of the lessons that I got. For example, if I was coughing or I had a dry cough or something, I knew which plant to go to, right? Because it was part of just the elders or even my older brothers, teaching me how to sort of take a rock and sort of get and squeeze the juice out of those leaves and mix it with the right amount of water and be able to drink it and I'm okay. But also survival, right? So being able to light a fire, being able to, to know which berry to eat, to pick and to eat and at what time and, in terms of season. So again, those were very, very important skills. Now, I moved to the north and I'm like, where am I going to use those skills? I do use those skills camping, right? I do use those skills when we're walking out with my family or with my kids in the forest. And if you want to give me something that helps to ease my mind, just say, Patrick, let's go for a nature walk. Patrick, let's go for, there's that incredible connection that I have with, nature, but ultimately I think the message that's coming through from Nature Explore from your program is that connection that we all have with nature and that we should promote. And so kudos to you and your team for the amazing work that you're doing to promote nature.
Thank you.
Good. And so moving from that, I have actually never asked you this question because we've got a common denominator, the World Farm Foundation. How did you get involved with the World Farm? I have never asked you this. I'm like, Tara is the ED now, but how? How did you get involved with the World Farm? Where did it all begin with you?
Yeah, well, so I've been with Dimensions for about 18 years. And Dimensions became one of the administrative partners for the World Forum Foundation, along with another organization, Community Development Institute, because the World Forum doesn't have any paid employees. It's all done by administrative partners. So Dimensions serving as this administrative partner, I started becoming involved in supporting the founders, Roger and Bonnie Negebauer, specifically with Roger, working with him to support the Global Leaders Program with some logistical administrative assistance. And then I started helping with the World Forum working groups, specifically the Nature Action and Collaborative for Children, because of our connection with Nature Explore. And then I started doing event logistics. When Bruce Schoen retired, I became the events manager. And then, so it's just one thing after another, just started evolving.
Can do.
Yes, exactly. So I just became more and more involved in the different aspects of the World Forum. And then when it came time to look at a shift in the executive director, then there I was. So it's been a few different. And that's actually my story about Dimensions too. Like I just worked in a different capacity, multiple different capacities over, a decade and a half, and then ended up where I'm at now. So I think which is intriguing to me to just have the different ways to look at the organization, from a global leaders lens, and then from a working group lens, and then from an event logistic lens. So really having the full picture now.
Wow, that's amazing. There's a nugget of wisdom that I thought came through, and this is just based on your experiences. You're speaking, I was like, oh, I didn't know this history about you. And one of the things that I just wrote down here is that responsibility goes to one who who can, if that makes sense, right? And I just see the progression of your career is you are not shying away from responsibility yet, right? Like, I mean, no doubt, I'm sure you face so many challenges and some things that you're like, I think I'm out of my depth here, but you're there. You just turned up with the can-do attitude, right? And so to my listeners out there, hey, here's a perfect example, right? That responsibility goes to those that can, and so step up, show up, and you'll be able to get additional responsibility. Now, Tara, just a bit of background setting, right? So, for my listeners here who might not know what the World Forum Foundation does, so the mission of the World Forum Foundation is to promote an ongoing global exchange of ideas on the delivery of quality services for young children in diverse settings. And you've just mentioned the Global Leaders Program. So, with that particular program, it's sort of a leadership development program. I went through that program myself. In fact, one of my advocacy projects was to establish an organization that is existing now that's, supporting hundreds of thousands of children, not only in my home country, Zimbabwe, but also in Southern Africa through various partnerships. And so the World Forum Foundation really has been connecting, different leaders, early child development leaders across diverse settings for over 25 years. Tara, as you collect and hear different stories, right? What are some of the most powerful examples you've seen of how ideas are shared at the World Forum convenings, right? At the international gatherings, or even in the smaller working group settings? Could you share with us maybe a few? Someone who's listening is like, hey, I'm in the early childhood development space. I want to know more and I want to be part of this movement. Like, what some of the examples do you have of how you've seen the power of coming together and of global advocacy?
Right. Well, with the Global Leaders Program, especially for it to be around for 20 years, it has provided just that, a group of leaders to build them up, have their advocacy projects be heard and seen and come to fruition, and to be celebrated and supported, where a lot of these leaders wouldn't have had the opportunity otherwise. The Global Leaders Program has some funders that are able to keep this program going, where these leaders, no matter where they come from in the world, would not have had the opportunity to have that growth and that support and a way to share out and truly become a leader. So a lot of the stories that have come of it, including your own, is truly remarkable. The same with the working group leaders that we have. We have several working group topics. So we have a working group on children's rights, a working group on men in early childhood, peace building, curriculum, play, race, racism, equity, and diversity, a lot of different topics where these working groups really come together with representation from across the world and bring their different perspectives to this topic. And it's a network, it's a way of sharing. And again, without the World Forum's platform and way of connecting and sharing out, a lot of these voices would never be heard. And so one example is with the working group on children's rights. The last several years, they've been having a spotlight at the events that we host in person. And so they spotlight a program and to give it recognition, which then has come to be where these programs go back to their home countries, and then they're able to take off with their work in a way that they wouldn't have, been highlighted otherwise, and then maybe potentially get funding for their own program or be highlighted with the, publicly or with the government in their own country. I can think of a spotlight of a program in Mexico that really did amazing things and got a lot of recognition for what they brought to the World Forum. And then also another organization in Malaysia for being highlighted about their inclusive outdoor playground. So it's just really giving the opportunity for these individuals and these programs to be known and seen, and for us to all hear about them.
That's amazing, right? Just bringing together. And I remember the last convening in Vancouver in April 2024. There were over 800 people coming through from 53 countries, and all of these are people that are working with young children in different settings, right? So it could be professors at the university that are teaching those that are working with young children, or it could be childcare workers that are working in classrooms every single day, or it could be funders. It could be anyone who's really invested in the well-being of young children. And so very, very important work that you're leading, Tara. And you just mentioned Malaysia. So talk to us about Malaysia 2026. What's the big plan? What's happening?
Yeah, we are so excited. We're in full gear of planning to be in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia in mid-April of 2026 for our in-person event that
Yep.
we are expecting to have anywhere from 500, 600, 700 people, again, from hopefully 50 nations to attend. We're well on track to reach the registration numbers that we're
Yep.
wanting. A lot of diversity already in the people that are
That's amazing.
registering. So we're excited. We just announced the program presenters. Everybody had the
Nice. Yeah.
opportunity to submit a proposal for a breakout presentation. And so we let people know of those acceptance letters, and people are starting to, work on their presentations, get registered, build the hype. But also at our in-person events, we have an opportunity for those working groups to
Yeah.
meet around those topics.
Okay.
And they also share out in breakout panels. Also in our in-person event, we have an opportunity for the global leaders to come together. We'll actually have a new cohort of global leaders that will be coming together in Kuala Lumpur. We have pre-conference days where we have center tours. So while you come all the way to Kuala Lumpur, you can go see childcare settings right there in Malaysia and learn from what they're doing. We have city tour options. There's a pre-conference day focusing on men in early childhood. And there's lots of other ways to network and learn from each other and have some social evening activities. It's just truly like something, unless you've been there, it's unique. It's unlike any other. It's not a typical conference. It's a very unique experience that I want everybody to get to be part of at some point.
I love it. And you know what I love so much, and without being cheesy or anything, or overselling this, like what I love about the World Forum Foundation is that it's a really, really carefully thought through and a really, really good mix of both practice and academic sort of research, right? And I've attended a lot of academic researches, conferences, and I'm like, but with the World Forum, you sit there and you listen to people that are, perhaps using some of the results of the research that has been done, around the world, but B, you're just listening to the hearts and soul of beautiful, lovely, amazing practitioners that are doing this work every single day, right? You hear of people working in contexts that are unimaginable, right? Setting up programs in the middle of a war zone, setting up programs in the middle of a famine or hunger, or setting up programs in areas that you would not think that children can have spaces to be there. But they're just amazing, tireless advocates for all things young children. And so perhaps someone is listening from Manitoba, or someone is listening from Newfoundland or Toronto, and they've got, hey, okay, I'm a childcare practitioner, or I'm a professor in early childhood development, or I'm just a prof at the university, I'm a practitioner, or I'm a funder. How do they get access to information, right? As they listen to this podcast, where should I point them? Where should they go, Tara?
Right. Well, we have a website, worldforumfoundation.org. An email address to reach myself even, or others that are doing the behind the scenes work, would be info@worldforumfoundation.org. And yeah, we just would love anybody who has never heard of World Forum, or even if you have, to be helping us spread the word, but to come to learn, to be part of this community. It again is truly a community like no other, and once you've experienced it, you're you're in it for a lifetime, honestly, and we'll always be there for one another. We have some great ways for everybody to stay connected. And I mean, I know so many people in the World Forum community who truly have lifelong friends, and that's who they go to now, even about personal things or professional things, because it's a really safe space. And when you were talking about war zones, and so especially like where we're at now, more than ever, we need each other. We need this safe space. We need to come together and have this community, and that's what World Forum provides.
I love that. I love that. You couldn't have said that any better, Tara. Thank you so much for that. Now, Tara, I see our time is coming up to a close here, but I don't let my guests go before they answer a couple of questions, and so you're in the hot seat. So, if you had to have, Tara, if you were to have dinner with 3 people, alive or late or dead, who would they be and why?
Oh my goodness. I would have so many. I would want to pull some of my World Forum community friends together that we don't get to see often enough. To come together, even outside of a World Forum event, to just for dinner, you know? Honestly, I can't answer that question. I don't have just 3. I know you would be one of them. You would be one of them.
Give me 3, please.
We have so many World Forum community members who have passed away too, that you know, had a place in my heart that I would love to bring back for dinner too. I honestly, I would not be able to narrow it down to 3. So I'm in the hot seat, but I can't answer it.
My gosh, so you've been my first guest who's not answered this question.
Oh, really?
But I'm thinking about giving you a pass. The reason why I'm thinking about giving you a pass is that the amazing thing about you is that when you organize, for example, World Forum events, you know, for example, Vancouver, you know, like 800 people are coming, and 9 times out of 10 in a meeting or somewhere, Tara will be able to say, hey, there's this person coming from this particular country. So for that, I'll give you a pass, because I don't want any of these 750 something people like, why did she exclude me? Why? So I'll give you a pass for that. Tara Schroder, thank you so much for the work that you do, your presence, the can-do attitude that you bring in, not only to just World Forum Foundation meetings, but that you bring into your personal life with your girls as well. Thank you for modeling leadership, empathy, humility, and kindness. I wish you success with World Forum Foundation in Malaysia. I'm going to be there. I hope, again, listeners, you know, go to the worldforumfoundation.org website or worldforumfoundation.org/events. You'll be able to read through about Malaysia 2026. Tara, it's been such a pleasure to have you on Voices Listed podcast show with Dr. PMak, and thank you again for the work that you do.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you for listening to the Voices Listed podcast with Dr. PMak. I hope you enjoyed insights that came out of this conversation. Keep your notifications on. Our next episode will be dropping soon. Thank you and enjoy.